Good morning, church. I hope you're out there with us. We missed you here in the building, but I'm so glad we can still worship together. Let's pray to open up. Lord, we thank you for this day. We thank you that even with so much going on, we can praise you, we can worship you. We have even more reason to do so, Lord, because you're there for us. We ask you to be in this service. Lord, may every note sung, may every word spoken be for you and about you. Help us, Lord, just to trust you and to see you and hear from you today. I thank you, Lord, for hearing my prayer, and I thank you that you always answer. And we ask you, Lord, in Jesus' name. Amen. We're going to get ready to sing a song to lead us into prayer. With all that's going on in the world today, my heart is desperately needed Jesus' peace and comfort. How about you? I heard Franklin Graham's son say this week that God has delivered us before, and he will deliver us again. Amen? I have found comfort in that and in Scripture. If you have a Bible nearby, if you thought to do that, I'm going to read from Psalm 91. And this is from the New Living Translation. Maybe. Those who live in the shelter of the Most High will find rest in the shadow of the Almighty. This I declare about the Lord. He alone is my refuge, my place of safety. He is my God, and I trust him. For he will rescue you from every trap and protect you from deadly disease. He will cover you with his feathers. He will shelter you with his wings. His faithful promises are your armor and protection. Do not be afraid of the terrors of the night, nor the arrow that flies in the day. Do not dread the disease that stalks in darkness, nor the disaster that strikes at midday. Though 1,000 fall at your side, though 10,000 are dying around you, those evils will not touch you. Just open your eyes. See how the wicked are punished. If you make the Lord your refuge, if you make the Most High your shelter, no evil will conquer you, no plague will come near your home. For he will order his angels to protect you wherever you go. They will hold you up with their hands so you won't even hurt your foot on a stone. You will trample upon lions and cobras, you will crush fierce lions and serpents under your feet. The Lord says, I will rescue those who love me. I will protect those who trust in my name. When they call on me, I will answer. I will be with them in trouble. I will rescue and honor them. I will reward them with a long life and give them my salvation. Would you sing with us?
To see Good morning. Glad you're here today. Isaiah 59 says the statement that I find very comforting today. Surely the arms of the Lord are not too short to save, nor is his ear too dull to hear. Let's pray. Father, we come to you today realizing that these are interesting, frightening, anxious times for many Americans and for people around the world. We're facing an enemy that we haven't faced before. And Lord, we're looking to you. We have no power. We don't know what to do. We're looking to you. So today, Lord, we pray for your comfort to come. For those who are anxious, give them your peace. For those who are worried about their jobs, for those who are worried about their health, for those who are wondering what's next, remind them that you're with us always, that your love is always with us, that you promise that your presence will see us through both the mountains and even the valley of the shadow of death. So today, Lord, we come to you with a great sense of anticipation of what you're going to do through this bad thing, because you have a way of taking bad things and turning them into something wonderful and great. And we pray that you will do that you will revive your church in America, that you will restore passion to our hearts, that we might be passionate followers of Jesus. In Christ's name, amen. Well, this has been an interesting season for us. We've been dealing with the coronavirus, or COVID-19, the other name we call it. And for many of us, it's been something that we've never experienced before. I know for me, it's been something totally new. But what's really interesting is for the first time, we as an American church are possibly experiencing what Christians around the world experience: uncertainty, anxiety, fear of health and safety. Our buildings are closed, but the church is very much alive. And I believe that God is going to do something in his church that's going to be amazing here in America. We're going to become a church without walls. And we're going to join Christians around the world together to take the good news of Jesus Christ. Each year at graduation time, people give gifts to graduates. And the most common gift is a book. And the number one selling book for graduation gifts, whether it's pre-K or high school or graduate school or college, the book might surprise you. I'm going to read a little bit from the book and perhaps you'll recognize it. Congratulations! Today is your day. You're off to great places. You're off and away. You have brains in your head. You have feet in your shoes. You can steer yourself any direction you choose. And when things start to happen, don't worry. Don't stew. Just go right along. You'll start happening too. Oh, the places you'll go. You'll be on your way up. You'll be seeing great sights. And you'll join high flyers who soar to high heights. Except when you don't, because sometimes you won't. All alone, whether you like it or not, alone will be something you'll be quite a lot. Kid, you'll move mountains. So be your name Buxom, Bixby, or Bray, or Mordecai L. Van Allen O'Shea. You're off to great places. Today is your day. Your mountain is waiting. So get on your way. Now, perhaps you recognize the author. It's Dr. Seuss. And I confess I really like Dr. Seuss. But it's hard to not talk the way he writes. So we're in this series From Here to There. Be part if you want. Be part if you dare. 2 weeks ago we talked about up. The fact that we're to keep our eyes focused on Jesus. And that we're to look to things above. And last week we talked about in. That we're this community of believers. And we comfort and help and pray for each other and strengthen each other. We used Romans chapter 16 where Paul lists all those people who have touched his ministry, who have encouraged him, who have blessed him. And we said we need to keep a list of people that have encouraged us in our spiritual walk and to let them know what they mean to us. But we also need to pray that we'll be on somebody's list, that we will encourage someone, that we'll be a person that they can say, because of you, I will walk with Christ. The truth is, most Sundays we come to church and we look at the back of people's heads. And that's a little disconcerting to me because I got this big bald spot in the back of my head. But now more than ever, we're discovering that what church is really about. It's about loving and caring for each other. It's about reaching out into our community and sharing the heart and the love of Jesus. But we can't stay in this week. We have to go out. We're here, but we can't stay here. We have to go there. I can save you a lot of time today if you're taking notes because it's really only 2 words that we're going to be looking at. Long ago, God called a man named Abram, later renamed Abraham. And the call comes out of the blue, as God's call often does. Congratulations, today is your day. You're off to great places. You're off and away. Abraham was like, well, where am I going? How will I know when I get there? God's first command is simply to go. Go when I ask you to go. Go means that you leave your comfort zone. Go means that you don't have all your questions answered. Go means leaving the unfamiliar, the familiar for the unfamiliar, the unknown. Then God gives a second command to Abram. And it's really one word. Bless. So God gives Abram 2 imperatives, and literally that changed his world and changes our world. Go and bless. Listen to what he writes. The Lord said to Abram, leave your country, your people, and your father's household, and go to the land I will show you. And I will make you into a great nation, and I will bless you. I will make your name great, and you will be a blessing. And this is where it gets a little tricky for us. Because usually when we think about blessing, we think about what am I going to get and what am I going to receive. But God says, I'm going to bless you, but it's really not for you. It's really so you can bless others. It's not for you to keep. It's for you to share. You're blessed to be a blessing. Basically, he's saying to us, go bless. He repeats that promise several times. In Genesis 28, he says, all the nations on earth will be blessed because you have obeyed me. What does it mean to bless? It means to add to life, to enhance life, to give life, to make life abundant. Basically, blessing is what God does. There's a Latin phrase, mission Dei. It means the mission of God. Have you ever thought about the fact that God has a mission? He has a purpose in his creation. In the creation story in Genesis 1, he tells us that God created the birds of the air, the fish of the sea, and he says God blessed them. A little later in verse 22, it says that 28, God says that he made man in his own image. And again, he blessed him. God is in the blessing business. And we're made in his image, so it follows that our assignment in following Christ is to bless others. So what does it mean to follow Christ? It means to bless others. You may say, well, no one's trained me how to bless. They didn't teach me in school how to bless. I didn't go to college. Well, congratulations. Today is your day. You're off to great places. You're off and away. To bless is your mission. And God has called us to go on mission. He didn't just call the Mormons. He called us to go on mission. And most of you have at least heard of St. Francis of Assisi. He's a saint in the Catholic Church. As a young man, Francis heard God say this statement to him. Francis, all the things that you have loved in the flesh, you must now despise. And from those things that you formerly loathed, you will drink great sweetness and immeasurable delight. Now, if you're like many of us, we say, well, it might be important, so we write it down in our journal and forget about it. But instead, Francis almost immediately acted on what he heard. He goes. And he applies the vision in a horrific and wonderful way. As Francis is riding his horse out of town, he encounters the person that he fears and loathes the most, a leper. It's hard for us to relate and understand about leprosy because it's a disease we don't battle today. But in those days, it would be equal to COVID-19. It was scary. We wanted to stay as far away as possible from people who had leprosy. Leprosy caused you to lose your ability to feel pain. So lepers would sometimes scratch their eyes out, or they would damage their bodies because they couldn't feel any pain. And most people gave lepers a very wide berth. They had to call out, "Leper, leper." You see, social distancing isn't new to today. It's been around for a long time. Francis, before his conversion to Christ, avoided lepers at all cost. But this day, after his vision, Francis didn't run from the leper. Instead, he got off his horse and took his white hand and kissed it. And then he rode to a leper village, and he kissed each leper on their crusty lips. Francis' belief did not just inspire him, it transformed him. Instead of running from the broken and the hurting, he ran towards them and to them. Gary Thomas writes that today's modern Christian has often lost the touch and the sense of glory in being a Christian. We settle for so little, for a tame kind of faith, for a few rituals and maybe an occasional miracle that happens in response to prayer. Then he asks a very important question. He says, is the Christianity taught today large enough to seize our hearts? The Christian life is supposed to be about drama and passion and struggle and vision, all those things that make us feel alive. Gary Thomas tells about encountering a young 20-something who did not attend church, like 80 to 90% of 20-somethings who do not attend church. And she asked the question, why would I want to be a Christian? All they want me to do is to dump all the good music off of my iPod and wear ugly clothes. What would you say to her? Evidently, our preaching and our teaching has lost the vision of the glorious and the transforming power of Christ. That he really makes a difference in how we live our lives. If following Jesus is only about avoiding something, then we will achieve nothing for Christ. If a young woman won't even empty her iPod for her faith, she certainly won't give her life for her faith. Incarnational faith is life transforming. It's not about rules. It's about a new heart and a changed heart. Why are we surprised that St. Francis of Assisi would take those kinds of risks? We were made to be a blessing. Ken Love is our state pastor at the Church of God in Florida. And he also pastors a church plant in Orlando. And the church was talking about how do we get outside our walls? Well, a lot of churches have that discussion and really don't do much with it. Well, Ken loves to go to Sonny's Barbecue. And he has a waitress that always waits on him at Sonny's Barbecue. And he noticed that she was pregnant and she didn't have a wedding ring. And he decided, my wife and I, we're going to have a baby shower for this waitress. And he was telling his life group, his small group at his church about it. And it occurred to him, they're talking about getting outside the walls. So he said, would any of you guys like to come? And all of them said, yeah, we'd love to go. And so there were 12 of them. And they said to this waitress, next Thursday we're going to have a party here at the restaurant. Could you be our waitress? And she didn't usually work on Thursdays, but the management said, yes, you can be their waitress because Ken had already talked to the management. And so she comes that Thursday, and there's these 12 people, and she goes, what kind of party is this? And they said, well, it's a baby shower. And she looked at them because None of them looked pregnant, and some of them looked a little too old to be pregnant. And then they said, no, the party is for you. And it was a miraculous, incredible moment. And other waitresses gathered around to see what was happening, and they wanted to know about a church that was blessing others. Why should that be unusual for the church? A few years ago, on the front page of the San Francisco Chronicle, there was an article about a Metro Transit operator named Linda Wilson Allen. Linda drives a bus, and she knows all of her regulars. She knows them so well, if they're a little bit late to catch the bus, she'll wait for them. There's a lady in her 80s that had a heavy bag of groceries, and Linda stops, gets out, carries the bag onto the bus for her. And Ivy was so impressed that now she lets other buses go by and she waits for Linda's bus. There's a woman in the bus shelter named Tanya, and Linda noticed her and she knew she was a stranger. And so she invited her around Thanksgiving time to come to her family's home and have Thanksgiving dinner. Now they're close friends. And Tanya rides Linda's bus. The reporter in the article states that there's this little community of people who gather around Linda because she has such a powerful influence on their lives. They've offered her vacation homes, and they've brought her flowers and pots and floral arrangements. Driving a bus is a thankless job, often consisting of thankless or cranky passengers and heavy traffic. How does Linda keep this attitude? And again, this is on the front page of the San Francisco Chronicle. And the writer says, her mood is set at 2:30 in the morning when she gets down on her knees to pray for 30 minutes. There's a lot to talk about with the Lord, Linda says, who's a member of Glad Tidings Church in Hayward, California. When Linda gets to the end of her line, she always says, that's all. Take care. Love you guys. Where can you find the church? Well, in San Francisco, it's on bus 45, riding down the transit line. It's behind a transit vehicle. Oh, the places you will go. John Ortberg interviewed Linda, and he asked her if she prayed while she worked. And she said, yes, while I'm out there doing my job in ministry. What would the church feel like if when we were out there doing our job, we realized we were ministry? We were going in Jesus' name. In 2014, I went to a Heart to Honduras board meeting. I was a member of that board. I've been going to Honduras in Central America since 1986. And over the years, I've seen a lot of North Americans decide, I want to go to Latin America, I want to go to Honduras and live there and help those people. And most of them don't last 6 months. They try to bring their culture to that place, and it doesn't work very well. And at this particular meeting, there was a young couple, Stacy and Caleb. And it was really interesting. Caleb had red hair. They were about 21, 22 years old, just got out of school. He was an agricultural guy, and he wanted to help the people learn how to farm, and she wanted to help the women. And I was watching them and looking at them, I'm thinking, they might make it 6 months, maybe. They moved not to a mission house, they moved into one of these tiny villages far, far away from any large town. And they began to minister to the people. They moved into a Honduras typical home. And Caleb built a cistern for water. And all the men came around and go, what are you doing? He goes, well, you can collect clean water through this cistern instead of walking 3.5 miles to get water from a dirty river. And all of a sudden, they were really interested. And the kids started coming to their house because Stacy was so great with children, and she was teaching them and giving them nutritious food. And the women started coming, and she taught them how to cook better meals for their children. And Caleb showed the men how to plant vegetables. And the little church there, even though Stacy and Caleb could have been the leaders of the church, they took a back seat and they encouraged the pastor and the lay leaders there in their church. It was interesting. came back to the States because Stacy was pregnant. And after 2 years that they come home, they had this beautiful little girl, 4 months old, Alita. And they were leaving the next Sunday to go back to Honduras. They were going to raise their child among the Hondurans, which says a lot to those people. Why would someone take a child to a place, a village that's 30 miles from a doctor, and that doctor would be a little sketchy, into a country that's violent in its cities, that has such a low standard of living, because Caleb and Stacy are a blessing. They believe that God has called them to give his blessing. David Sparrow was a dentist in my church in Lexington, Kentucky. He was an elder in the church. And he left his practice of dentistry to move to Honduras. He was there for 2 years, he and his wife Margaret, blessing the people. And then he felt called to a different ministry. And they started La Cima Ministries, which means mountaintop ministries. And each year, a couple of times a year, always at Christmas time, they go to some of the most dangerous places in the world, places like Iraq and Bangladesh, to bless Christians who are under attack. Many of you have prayed for these persecuted Christians in your church services. David Barty felt called to be the hands and feet of Jesus and to go to bless them. Jesus said, if you want to be great, you have to be a servant. We will not be a great church if we're not great in the lives of the most vulnerable people around us. We have been blessed to be a blessing. For 20 years now, Monroe City Church of God has brought some of the most vulnerable children in our community on Wednesday evenings to our WWJD program. Many of these children, it's the only church they've ever known. It's the only church experience they've ever had in their lives. When the coronavirus began to change our lives in terms of our assembly together, our staff decided how we're going to help the kids in the school system who are dependent on school lunches. And they gathered with some other churches, and together they got a plan together to help feed these kids when school's not in session. We've had volunteers call the church saying, how can we help our elderly, our vulnerable people? Can we take them to appointments? Can we bring food to them? How can we serve them? They're asking, how can we be a blessing? How can we be a church without walls? 2 years ago, my son Brent took in a young girl from China who was a student at our Christian school in Daytona Beach, Florida. Her name is Vivian. And when Vivian came to live with them, she had never heard of Jesus. And she was in a Bible class in the school, and one of the first lessons was on the Trinity. And so Brent's trying to explain to somebody who knows nothing about Jesus what the Trinity means. That's hard for anybody to understand. So Brent does the water, steam, and ice thing. They were all representation of the same thing in different forms. He's kind of explained that Jesus and God and the Holy Spirit are kind of representations of the same thing. And she kind of got it, and she began to grow. She went to a state youth convention, and she received Jesus as her Savior. And just a few weeks ago, she was baptized. And now she has to go back to China because of the virus. But she's not going back alone. She's going back with Jesus. She's going back to bless those as she has been blessed. Let me ask you this morning, are you going or are you staying? Are you a blessing? Are you seeking people far from God? Do you care about them? Do you have a heart for them? Are you asking God, can you use my life to bless others? Is your faith that you're proclaiming more than just emptying your iPod? Is it more than just not swearing? We can't stay in. We have to go out. We have to follow Jesus courageously and shamelessly. Face death fearlessly, because one day he's coming back. And you don't want to miss that eternal party that goes on forever, and every day God is blessing and blessing and blessing. Now I know right now we're sheltering in place, but the virus doesn't last forever. And the call to be a blessing blessing does until the day God calls us home. The heart of God is to bless, and the people of God, made in his image, are called to be a blessing in the meantime, until he comes back for his family. Oh, the places you'll go. So I want to send you out today to bless the Lord. Would you pray with me? Well, God, don't want to stay here. When we think of all the men and women you have blessed in this body of believers, this church, it's staggering. Lord, help us not to keep the blessing to ourselves. We must bless others. We're here, but we have to go there. Would you allow a transformation of lives, a deliverance of broken souls and hearts through the people in this body we call the church? Could we change this world, starting in this community one heart at a time? Oh God, let it be so. In Jesus' name, amen. There's a wonderful hymn of the church that I've asked our praise team to sing today. It says, wherever he leads, I'll go. I'll follow the Christ who loved me so. Wherever he leads, I'll go. I would remind you this is a different time for all of us in church life. We usually have offerings, and there's no one to take an offering today. But we do need your support financially for the church to do the things that God has called us to do. So we hope that you will either give online or mail your offering in or stop by the church and drop it off. But your gifts are so important so that we can do the ministry God has called us to do. We're trusting you to be faithful and to be a blessing to others as we seek to bless others. Hope to see you next Sunday. Again, probably online. But make sure you go today and love others and trust God to use you as a blessing. Go in His name.